Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Shit Talk Reviews. I'm John. Derek's in the house, and we are joined today by Mr. Slatts Everyday from Australia's own King Parrot. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
John, Derek, thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. So we know you are currently on the road with Amon, Amarth, and Pantera, and where
Yep.
on the planet do we find you today?
We are in Utah, Salt Lake City, the home of a religion or something.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule of finding more wives and sister wives to pull into the queue and fill your tour bus, because that's the place to do it.
I'm trying to search for those 7 plates or whatever it is. Yeah. Get some of those really nice underpants that everyone's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the magic underpants. Yeah, definitely. So when did you guys hit the road for this tour run?
Sure. Well, we've been here for a while now. I think we're just over the halfway mark. Well, of course, to the magic of time, we flew out of Australia on the 23rd and arrived on the 23rd. And then we kicked off our first show with Acid Bath and Pentagram in Brooklyn on the 25th. And then, you mentioned Pantera and Amarth, which is, I guess, the bulk of our tour. But we've also managed to squeeze in a quick little tour with Weed Eater, and then also a tour with Squid Pisser and Bonginator as well. So it's been quite the mix.
That's a great bill.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, those guys. But I mean, obviously, we're here in Utah today with the big guns. Yeah.
Yeah, you're certainly out with the big guns.
What is an average day? What does a day with those bands look like compared to a day on a smaller tour? I would assume there are some fundamental differences there, right?
Yeah, fundamentally, there's a lot more heavy lifting on my part, which I'm not happy about.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's an absolute luxury and a pleasure, I suppose, to be able to do the big shows, where you've got, a full tour package of support. We get here, we as efficient as possible. We get all our stuff set up in our spot, change the strings, then go hunting for catering and laundry, get that done, and then before you know it, we've got sound check. We come off stage from there. We've got about, I think, usually about an hour before we hit the stage. And then we get off stage, and I would honestly say within the space of 40 minutes, all our stuff is packed back on the trailer and we're done. So your head is spinning, literally. Like, now, switch that to a club show. We might load in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, get all our stuff on stage, and then spend the rest of the day finding the best place to eat in the area, trying to maybe look around. I usually like to sleep. Get on stage, rock, and then get everything packed. Then get into the shitty little shower in our tour bus. Try not to touch things, and get into bed. So it's night and day. I mean, like I was saying, I think being on a big tour package like the Pantera and Amarth setup is such a pleasure and a great opportunity. But I don't know, the road dog in me, I kind of still love the club shows, like, probably more. I mean, they're both amazing in their own way. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that great for Instagram to play in front of heaps of people, but then to have people in front of you like this is, I get the vibe from that.
Well, the small clubs, you can do a crowd dive while you're playing your instrument, right? It's
That's
still
right.
that option there. Yeah. You're not going to die. Yeah. There's not going to be a barrier at a Pantera show.
Yeah, I've had both of those experiences. Many years ago, actually hitting one of those barriers on tour with Obituary and Exodus in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not the athlete that I thought I was. It was just a bridge too far, unfortunately.
None of us are. And we're also aging. So.
Yeah.
So how long has it? I mean, clearly you still kind of carry that romantic notion of the smaller tour packages.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm guessing just for the luxuries that come along with a big tour package, those have got to be a little easier. But do you, like you said, do you often think of yourself like, man, I'd rather squeeze us all in the back of a van with a trailer behind us?
Yeah, I mean, like, actually, give me the loading support of big tour any day of the week. But I think it's hard to say. That honestly, it is such an amazing experience when you step out in front of a crowd of, whatever it might be, 20,000, 30,000. We just did Europe with Pantera earlier this year, but we're a dirty little grindcore band, that has been grinding it out since something like 2012 or 2011. It's what we know, and also from in that point of view, I just watched the Devo documentary last night. Like their trajectory up, and then you just they couldn't always go up. You will go down as well, or things will plateau. So never stop loving what you started doing, I suppose.
Tell us a little bit. I'm sure you've talked about this a lot, but tell us how Phil Anselmo got into your world and how you ended up on Housecore Records.
Sure. And I'm pretty sure my story is the right story. So here we go. I know that we played a festival in Melbourne, Australia that I Hate God were actually headlining. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Bauer and Mike Nine happened to catch our show and enjoyed it. We, first opportunity, loaded them up with as many records as we could and T-shirts or whatever. And at the time, I believe Mike Nine was actually living above Phil's studio. So he obviously got home and said, "Hey, love this band." I'll say love. I don't know whether he said that, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that bit. And then I think a week or so later, Matt, our singer and manager, received an email from Phil Anselmo, and thinking it was probably a prank or something, but him getting in touch. And I think as part of that, they happened to be coming to Australia. He was coming to Australia with Down for, I think, Soundwave Festival. I can't remember, but it just so happened that we were playing on the same stage as them. So, yeah, he'd been in touch. We got to meet them. Literally, the first meeting, they literally invited us on stage to play with them at the very end, as Down do at the end of every set. So that was amazing. And then we were actually headed off to America for our first ever tour. I think literally like a week or 2 weeks after that. And we came close to Phil's place, and him and Kate came out and saw us, invited us back to their place to stay that night. And the relationship sort of just grew from there. And I mean, they've been amazing. Phil has produced one of our records that we recorded it at Nosferatu.
It seems like a really cool place, is it?
It is.
The Nosferatu layer, yeah.
Layer is amazing, and just for anybody who gets to record there, it's such a wonderful place to be. It's got like river running through it. It's really really nice. Again, they're so welcoming, and it's like a second home for us now. We've stayed there. They let us, we're able to store our all our American gear there. They're just fantastic. They're so supportive, and we are so very grateful. It certainly resulted in a bunch of amazing experiences for sure.
I got to give Phil credit. He does wear your merch a lot on stage, and he does it with all of the other bands that are associated with Housecore, which is great.
It's funny that too. Like I get asked by people, back in Australia or wherever, but it must be so unbelievable, amazing to be on stage. I'm like, yes, but also, I mean, I would say we're a very hardworking band. So when, you experience increments when, things get better, but when that happens, it's almost like it's kind of, this is meant to be happening or whatever. But so for me, I mean, it's still an amazing experience, but the most amazing experience is when you're out in the crowd and you look up and you go, oh my fucking God, there is Phil wearing our T-shirt, that's the pinch yourself sort of thing for me personally.
That's got to be a bit of a mind fuck. Or at least at the beginning, right?
I mean, I still, not every once in a while now, still because I can literally, remember the exact moment and place where I was when I first heard Pantera for the first time. It's such a spin out. And then
does the first mental picture of him wearing your shirt sit right next to that memory of the first time you heard Pantera?
I would say that, and also, I mean, stepping into their home and seeing these gold records of all these albums that you just listened to so much, as a kid and still now,
Yeah, I gotta believe Phil he's Phil.
Yeah.
Enough said. But having his support on a label front, the logistic support of, being able to keep your American gear, with him knowing it's safe and sound, you don't need to sweat it. That's got to be a big load off the shoulders. I know the logistics involved with tours, even small club show tours, is crazy. And I can't begin to imagine what it's like to, go on a run like you're on now, one of those huge tour packages. So that's got to be a real benefit to you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like it probably has, in the long run made it actually possible. We've done everything. The first time we came, we had these lofty ideas, and we did a whole tour where no one had really heard of us over here, and we headlined that tour. But we've gone from sleeping in a row each, in a van, doing that, and who knows, that could be next time. Again, it's that whole idea is enjoy the levels that you reach, but also don't be afraid of the levels that you will return to as well. It's not for everyone. I mean, we're not young dudes. A lot of people might say it's a young man's game, but we fluked it somehow. That
you wouldn't know that watching you guys on stage. I mean, you guys have a manic stage presence. I'm curious to know how the hell you guys keep that up night after night.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I think we spur each other on. That's for damn sure. It's definitely, and over the years, it's taken different shapes and formats organically. I think I think there was really a moment where it was we really started to be a performance as well as, our music's really important. That is played well, and it's it's heavy and it's tight and it's extreme, but we also want to have a good time. There was a stage there as a group. We were, almost trying to hurt each other on stage, and I was getting on stage going, I wonder if I will break something tonight. We've sort of chilled out from that now as we've gotten a bit older. But I think it's about, we do spur each other on, and I think one of the things I think that makes us entertaining, probably not the answer to your question, but I believe that what makes us entertaining is that we entertain ourselves, and that translates to our crowd with any language of any background. If someone sees you really fucking giving it your all, then yeah.
Well, and on that front, listen, Slatts, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. I have to tell you,
man, what do you think?
The song titles are amazing. Your music is incredible. It's a two-part question. How does creating a song in King Parrot work? And then what is the funniest story associated with a particular song when you guys were completed with it? There's good stories to tell there.
Absolutely. And it's funny. I think, and the really nice thing is that we've probably had a few different approaches to how we've recorded and how we've written songs. I think obviously when you start out, we had lots of songs because we hadn't recorded yet, and then we had an opportunity for one of our albums where we actually spent 4 weeks in a barn in Vermont. A friend of ours' parents let us hole up there, literally in an old barn, and write an album. This time around, we basically set ourselves a date, because obviously lives exist around the music, that sort of thing. And we set ourselves a challenge to sort of write, stuff that we had, but also we created within this time frame, which was a lot of fun. In terms of the names to the songs and that sort of thing, Squiz, our guitarist, is from Tasmania. Now, you couldn't get more Australian if you tried. It's the very bottom of Australia. It's where all the convicts went, Squiz people. So quite often, we're all Australian, we're all bogans, but even now, Squiz has the power to pull out a phrase or saying that I've never heard before, and I'm on the floor pissing my pants. Songs like "Shit on the Liver," that's him. I'd never heard of that before. That 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, I'd never heard that before. Those sort of things have come about just by Squiz, just coming out with these calls, and we're all the stitches. And in that sense, I think that everyone in the band has an amazing sense of humor, and we're all able to crack each other up. So, particular funny story, not really, but it's just, you never know from day to day who's going to talk the most shit, really. I try very hard to talk the most shit.
Fun fact, my kids and I were just, before this interview, we were out and about, and Shit on the Liver came on, and they were like looking at the screen and they couldn't believe that what they were seeing. And I'm like, yep, that's really the song, and that's really who we're interviewing. And they were like, awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, Fuck You and the Horse You Rode In On. It's amazing now that that song exists, how often I hear that saying, like on a movie, on a TV show or whatever. Like I guess I'm ultra attuned to it now, but it's like, and in America, it's been getting such a great response because it's a fucking great song. I'm really proud of it. Like, I think we're all really proud of it. But Matt, as our front man and conductor, has created a really great vibe for that call and response sort of thing. Like, we're getting, whole crowds of, 20,000 or we're a club show, all sticking their fingers up at us. It's like, do it. It'll be easier if you're not enjoying us too. It's no problem.
Yeah, I picked up the notion that the snark factor in this band is very high very quickly.
Yep. I think that's the other thing, like one of that evolution is that we used to be a lot meaner to people, I would say, when we were on stage. Like, we would pick out people and sort of make fun of people. And then meet us after the show. We are honestly the nicest people you could meet, but it's all part of that performance shtick. I think we've mellowed on that as well, where we are a bit more complimentary. I think Youngie even last night was complimenting the local barista.
Oh, very kind of it. It's funny, exactly. The snark factor resonated with me. Another one of my favorite current bands is the Barbarians of California, who is sort of an amalgamation of AWOL Nation and Eric Stenman, one of their longtime engineers and producers.
Yeah.
And when I heard their debut album, the snark was ridiculous. I mean, you could just feel it. And then I started listening to your latest album, and again, the snark factor is right there. Both have unhinged vocalists at the front.
Yes.
Just so great. Now, full disclosure, I am new to King Parrot, and so I am learning your discography backwards from the most recent album.
Sure thing. Okay,
and I'm absolutely loving it. It's great stuff. And like I said, the unhinged is the word that comes to mind often. And the first thing that I picked up on right on the first track was, I have to take a moment to applaud you for Get What You Given.
Yes.
Using an opening track in 7 just touched my heart. I was so happy when I realized that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and again, you're right, the snark factor is huge. Yeah.
So to that end, putting a song especially at the front of an album, in an odd time signature is maybe a little more common today these days with, progressive metal is making its way more to the forefront. But how who in the band is the prog guy? Who gravitates towards the odd time signatures and things that are a little tougher to tap your toe to?
Yeah. It's a good question. And it's hard to actually pick out one person. See, Ari is probably our main songwriter, and I know since Squiz has been in the band for 12 years, maybe he's been in it for 10 years. He and I perhaps come from more of a rock and roll background, but sometimes Ari's way of putting a riff together has not really registered. I don't understand it. I love it. It's going to take me a while to figure out how I work myself into this, the bass and that sort of thing. So I think it's definitely Ari, but then again, in the same sentence, Squiz, whilst being rock and roll, I suppose, has a very storied history and career in music and done a lot of different stuff. So prog would not be far away from him either. And again, some of his songs I think blow me away, as well. The first record, Buy Your Head Off, I think the title track from that is Schizophrenic. It's crazy, and that's a Squiz little number. So yeah.
Yeah. So King Parrot has got, a lot of dark and it's some pretty visceral stuff. And if you don't mind chatting about it, how do you balance what you're doing in King Parrot with what you're doing outside of King Parrot with a social work background and things like that? Where's your middle ground between those two entities?
I guess that's a really interesting, good question. no matter what we do, music is still community. And I think that involving like anybody who comes up to us and speaks to us and, can I help you lift anything? Hey, I'm lazy, number one, but like, actually someone just lifting a guitar, it's a huge thing for them, and so in that sense, yeah, I think it is still very much community. I think it's very much, I don't take it lightly how music can help people as well. I know myself, how important it is. So, yeah, no, that's how I balance it. Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic.
We have a lot of bands that have started following us, and I think a lot of times they're looking for their North Star. And I think it's important to kind of ask you, because you're on tour with Pantera and Amon Amarth. What do you give it for advice for bands that want to be in your seat?
I just think work hard. I think that sure, there are bands that will have that spark of luck. I can name not luck, but they have great talent, but they're also picked up by a label and given that right support, and that's amazing. I hope that happens to as many people as possible. But I think really the reality is, if you want to do it, you've got to have an AC/DC mentality, and you've got to work very fucking hard. Like in Australia, a lot of bands might only hit Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, and not do, say, Tasmania, Perth, Northern Territory. I mean, but AC/DC back in the day, I grew up in a country town in Victoria with a population of 20,000 people. AC/DC were there perhaps every 3 months. They just got in a van and they played up and down the coast. We brought out Child Bite from America, and got them on a bus with us, and we drove up as far as far north Queensland. I mean, if you're not familiar, but we played all these country towns, and I think that is the way. Like, again, I'm happy to play. If two people look at us, that's cool. But we find that you play country towns, and then the next time we're playing capital cities, that those guys will jump in cars and drive 3 hours or whatever it is to come and see us. And we've seen that in America. There was a guy there last night who drove 7 hours to see us at a club show. I mean, and that happens all the time.
Who are some bands that are in Australia that we should know about?
Sure. Well, there's a couple that you probably already know about. Like right now, Amon and the Sniffers are blowing up. They're not metal, but they're very, very popular. And again, just Amy, who's the front person of that band, has so much presence, and their music's great. It's really snarky. It's not metal. It's rock, but it's like, she is so in your face. She doesn't give a shit. Like, it's great. I guess, again, I'm older, and that's a new influence for me, and there's constantly new ones coming up, but I always fall back. Like, I have a mixed background of music. I think most musicians do, but Blood Duster were a stalwart of the grindcore scene when I was growing up. Damaged was another one. Bean Flipper. Blood Duster just got back together recently, and are playing a show when I get back to Australia that I'll be making sure that I go and see. But then also, I grew up listening to Australian bands like the Cosmic Psychos, who still exist today, still tour America, but those guys are in their 50s and 60s, and they are punk rock as fuck as well. But in terms of those new influences, very much. Chuff are another band from Australia who are really in your face and scary, rude, not very nice people, and I love them.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing that list. That's a wonderful list, and we'll certainly give all of them some props.
Yeah. Who are you listening to right now? Not necessarily who are you influenced by and that sort of thing, but when you hop in the car or whatever, you're doing stuff around the house, who are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
Yeah, here's what I'll disappoint the heavy metal fans out there, is that I actually before King Parrot became the only band that I could really manage, I was in a country band. I love Americana stuff. Gillian Welch is one of my favorite artists of all time, so she's on heavy rotation. And then I'll go to Black Sabbath. So it's funny, something I've said to people like my mates as well, is that I think that new music to me is like fodder, but I'll always fall back to the stuff that made me fall in love with music. So yeah, like it might be Amon and the Sniffers, it might be Eka Vandal, who I'm listening to at the moment, another Australian artist who's really blowing up at the moment. Yeah, I'll listen to that, love it, and I'll like listen to it nonstop for a few days. But then next minute, I'm singing "Never Say Die" by Black Sabbath or something.
Yeah.
It's what you fall back on, I suppose.
Nice. What do you do on what's your, I love to ask this question. What is your perfect day? If you're not working on music stuff, what is the perfect day for Slatts?
Okay, so I am going through my middle-age crisis. I've just upgraded to my second Harley.
Very good.
I spend a lot of time riding. I got a new bike, I think the 2nd of January. And whilst also being in Europe for a month and a half, I managed to put something like 5,000 miles on it in about 3 months. So
Great.
I just love it. It's just so much fun, especially, I mean, I can't wait to do it in America. It's something I really plan to do before I die, is really ride across America. But Australia just, again, is such a huge country with great roads and great scenery and great things to do. So it's also been like, I think as you get older as well, you've got to like find ways of connecting to new people and making new friendships and that sort of thing. So I do that. I built my own studio at home. I've really gotten into synthesizers as well. So that's the other thing that I fuck around with. I'm glad I didn't get into that when I was younger, because synthesizers are so fucking expensive.
Yeah. I got a follow-up question for that. I've got to believe you are completely taking your life in your own hands, being on 2 wheels in Australia with the cane toads.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the documentary. Yeah. My understanding is they would have us believe that the ground is just consistently carpeted with millions of cane toads.
No one has asked me that. I've got to say, in all honesty, no, that has not been an issue for me. I know that they are an absolute pest in far north Queensland, but the more dangerous thing up there, and I have ridden up there, which is like when they have wet season, it's always hot up there, always so hot. But you can go from that to completely torrential rain where you cannot see this far in front of you. So everything's just slick. That's the dangerous thing. Yeah, I haven't had a problem with the frog. Haven't had a problem with the frog yet. But thank you. Now I'm afraid of that.
Well, I'm here to help.
Cheers, appreciate it.
Well, Slatts, now that we're friends, will you take us on a traditional Aborigine walkabout? Just wearing a loincloth, the three of us? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yep. I would love to learn more myself.
We'll bring a GoPro and see how we do.
Exactly. Well, actually, there's an Aboriginal or Indigenous metal band up in a town called Broken Hill, which is quite literally in the middle of the desert. And they're great, really positive dudes. But the guitarist from that band has invited me out onto country. Next time I go up there, he's going to take me out hunting and stuff, which I'm really excited about. It'd be great.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're wearing a bowling shirt and a ping golf hat.
And some high-vis shorts, mate.
Oh, I have no idea what to make of you in your off time on this tour. What are you and the guys doing? When you the rare down days that you have on this tour cycle.
Look, we haven't really had any down days, but when we do, we all love water slides. So,
interesting.
We go to water parks. That's what we do. But the ping hat, I've started playing golf because it's exercise for old men, which is how I would describe it.
Indeed.
Yeah. But yeah, we're all water babies. Love swimming. The T-shirt is actually from Youngtown, and I think we all bought a T-shirt because they were the loveliest people, the best venue, the greatest owner. They just looked after us so well. They were just so absolutely wonderful. So like, yep. Fuck yeah, we're all getting a T-shirt.
Well, you are absolutely our favorite epileptic butcher that I've ever met. So this has been an absolute treat.
Cheers, Derek. Cheers, John. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Indeed. We know you guys, you have a show to get ready for tonight, so we will let you get on with your day. But yeah, I really appreciate you spending some time with us. Have a great rest of this tour run, and I look forward to peppering you with other ridiculous questions about.
Please do reach out.
Yeah, we'll hit you up when you get done with the tour. We'll get to all the guys on and we'll do some remote golf or something.
Absolutely, that'd be great. Well, look, lovely to meet you both. Cheers.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Slatts.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.